Hey, good morning, Chris Steigelman, Director of Grounds. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the Magnolia project. We're about 3 weeks in right now, 2 weeks since we've gotten our land disturbance permit for the county, and we've got a lot of videos and pictures we thought we'd share with you, kind of give you a little update on the progress of the work so far. Over the past 2 weeks, most of what we've been focused on at this point is all demolition of the old golf course, old infrastructure, and tilling up all the areas of disturbance. So here's a shot of number 11. As we come to that area where the cart path crosses the fairway, you can see all this area has been tilled. That's the first step of the process. So the old grass gets eradicated out, tilled up, and that gets it ready to be shaped. In the background there, you can see a little bit of work going on with the greens. That's the demolition of the old greens material. Sod is stripped off the surface, and then the greens mix itself is pulled out, stockpiled adjacent to the green to be kind of worked back into the surrounds. After removing the mix, then they remove the gravel layer and the existing pipe, the old pipe that was in the ground. That gets disposed. And then they're ready to reshape the area. Here's an illustration that shows you what a USGA spec green looks like. You can see the pipe in the bottom there is surrounded with gravel. There's a 4-inch gravel layer or a blanket right above that allows the water as it moves through the sand to go into that gravel and then ultimately down into the pipe and out of the green. And then the greens mix is the sand area above the gravel in the photo. That's what we talk about. That's our growing medium for the turf. And what you really want is that stuff not to stay wet. It's the point of the gravel. The sand will work the water down through it into the gravel, and the sand stays moist but not overly wet. Over the years of maintaining the Magnolia Golf Course, we knew we had issues with the drainage in the greens. You don't really get a chance to see exactly what's down there, obviously, until you take it out. You can do some different things to try to figure it out, but until we actually remove everything and see what we're working with, that's when we really figure out why they weren't draining like they were supposed to be draining. So here's a shot. We're on number 5. We can see this is with the pipe and the gravel and the mix already removed. So what you're seeing here is the trench where the pipe used to exist, and then there was a blanket of gravel over the top of this. And as we looked at it, there is pipe and gravel in here. This is the right side of number 5. There's trenches running down that right side with some laterals running towards the middle of the green. And a little smiley, we call them a smiley drain, it runs right along the edge of the green. And when you look back towards the left side of this green, there's really nothing for drainage in the whole left side of that green. So as we're excavating that gravel out, this shows you a picture of it here. We're really taking a look at where the piping is and just trying to really figure out what we had in there. You can see these guys removing the gravel over the top, and so what's left is that native soil base, and then you see the lines where the gravel is a little deeper. That's where the pipe is. So we'll go through and actually look at that pipe and excavate out that gravel and pipe to see what we had going on. Here's a picture of the nursery green we built last year being installed. Just want to point out the drainage. You can see the trenches dug in there. That'll be where the pipe is installed and then filled with gravel. Just look at the design and how there's the main trunk line running up the center, and then several lateral lines 10 to 15 feet apart that extend out from that center line back to the edges of the green. That's how it should be designed. Here's a shot of them filling those lines with gravel and then ultimately putting the entire 4-inch gravel blanket back over the top of that. And then back to Magnolia, this is number 18. There are 3 lines running through this green, right down the center and then 2 on the edges, but no lateral lines. They're probably 30 feet apart or more, so just an insufficient amount of drainage. Over the past couple of years, number 11 green was obviously the one we had a lot of issues with, probably more than almost any other green on Magnolia. So want to go out in the field, we'll take a little walk through and show you what we saw there. Okay, so we've got one trunk line running right up the middle of this green. There's a smiley drain running around the front, and then in the back where the machine's working, there's another line that runs back, and then there's a smiley drain around the back, but there is no drainage whatsoever on the whole right half or left half of this green. And then what we found when we get in here around these pipes is some kind of dirty material, and then actually there's some kind of a paper liner on top of this pipe is completely just sealed up, not letting anything through it. So basically it's like wrapping your pipe in saran wrap. So not enough drain lines, pipe that's not draining, dirt and debris. We found clay chunks and dirt in the gravel. It should be clean, nothing else in it but gravel. That was not the case here. And then the mix itself was even, that's the mix over there. It's a different color. It's like an orangey yellow color compared to the other greens that we've excavated so far. So major differences in this green versus the other ones, the other 10 that we've done so far. This is the gravel off number 11, but we also saw similar issues to this on number 18 as well, which wasn't necessarily a bad green, but the gravel itself is fairly clean at the surface, but when you get around this area around the pipe, you can see that reddish color. There's just a lot of silt. It almost looks like a clay. Maybe it was a dirty gravel when it came in, and that silty material just works its way through and just clogs everything up in there. So here's another shot. This was from 18. That's the gravel layer with just clay junk in it. I mean, it's really just disgusting stuff that's down there. It's just this kind of muck that's just clogging up everything. And so here's a shot of that fabric again. This was from the pipe off of number 18. You can see that paper fabric on the outside of it, and that silty material has just clogged up all the porosity in that fabric, not allowing anything to go through it. There should be, there's perforations in this pipe underneath that fabric that allow the water to go through, but not allow the rock to go through, and they're just all completely clogged up. So that gives you kind of a summary of the demolition side of what we've been doing over the last 2 weeks. We've completed greens 1 through 9, 10, 11, and 18. So currently next week we'll pick up on hole number 12 through 17, get that part of it done. We've done the rototilling on all the golf holes, at least around the greens complexes. We'll be doing fairway bunkers as well with this project. That work to demolition the grass existing around the fairway bunkers will take place later. Right now the focus is on getting the greens complexes done. That way we can allow more time for those greens turf, the Tiff Eagle, to be planted on the green to establish and be ready for the fall. So now we get to the really fun part of what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. This is the 6th green complex, so once everything is demolitioned out, then we get to start the shaping process. So in the background on the bulldozer, you can see our shaper, Sterling Gardner. He's the man responsible for taking Brandon Johnson from the Arnold Palmer Design Group's vision and turning that into a reality in the dirt. So these guys are very talented. He's doing what we call rough shaping, which is just kind of getting the general shape of the green and the greens complex. He's actually working in the green in this shot, making the new greens well. So this will be a significantly bigger green than what 6 was before. This is about 8,300 square feet versus probably about 5,000 square feet before. So significantly bigger, extending into the swale behind the green, give it some different contours and some different textures. Here's another shot of the same greens complex a little further in the progression. You can see Sterling there shaping out the greens floor using the small Sand Pro. So this is more of a finish grade in preparation of actually installing the drainage and the mix and the new gravel. So that'll happen probably in the next week or so. Obviously just one of 18 greens, so the process takes a little while, but we expect to be complete with the front 9 greens probably in the next 5 or 6 weeks, and then we'll flip over and start the back 9 greens. So we've got 6, 7, and 8 currently shaped out, not completely finished, but getting pretty close. And then the next step will be to go to number 5 and start working backwards. So we'll provide more updates. That's kind of what we've been working on for the last 2 weeks, and hopefully we can do more of these weekly or bi-weekly and kind of give you an idea of where we're at with the process. Be on the lookout. Jake Holloway, our superintendent, and Zach Proud, assistant on the Magnolia Golf Course, are getting pretty good with some drone footage and some of the aerial shots. So we're going to be coming to you with a few more videos and show you some of the work that's been done, some of the before and after shots. They're pretty neat to see. So we appreciate your time today. Sorry this video went long, but we figured we had a lot to cover. Really a lot of good work happened in the last 2 weeks, and look forward to sharing more with you in the coming weeks.